Hi parents, Ms. Sacramani here again with your weekly video to give you an idea of what we did in class. These were the books we took a look at this week. Obviously they were Halloween focused now that we're done with Thanksgiving and moving into the Halloween season. We looked at Scaredy Cat Splat, which is just a fun book that the kids just got a good laugh out of. We looked at The Little Old Lady Who's Not Afraid of Anything, and that was like a pattern book, so every page it built on the page before it. We looked at 10 Busy Brooms, again because it's a counting book, so they were going up to 10, and then, I don't know if it went back, no, it just went up numbers 1 to 10. And then the reason we also read this book is next week, if you look at the smart board, the kids will be creating their very own Halloween countdown books. So I've read lots of counting books with them throughout the year, like from fall to Halloween to Thanksgiving. Every week we do a counting book of some sort. So next week we're going to be creating our own counting books with our buddies, and then I'm hoping I can get them printed out and bind it into actual books for the kids. So that's why we're continuing to do these. And then we also looked at, we're going on a ghost hunt. So this one's kind of plays, it has the same storyline as we're going on a bear hunt. So they really enjoyed this one. Our focus bin this week were roll and cover number mats. So the students have to roll their dice, count their numbers, and then take a bingo tile and cover it. Now to differentiate for my students, we had two types of mats. We had a 2 dice mat and then we had a single dice mat. So with the 2 dice mat, they actually had to roll their dice and add them together. And then so 6 and 3, so 9, and then they had to cover the number on the sheet. This was great because for my kids who are at that stage already, it was awesome to teach them the math strategy of counting on. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I taught a few of the kids to go, instead of, if you know this is 6 already, you don't have to count each individual dot. Count up or count on. So 6, 7, 8, 9. So this was a really good activity that the kids got to do this week. Again, not all the children got the double dice. It was based on their abilities, really. Then we looked at fine motor. So we did a Halloween pumpkins. The kids were given tracers. They had to cut their pumpkins, and then using just scissors and blank pieces of construction paper, they had to create faces for their pumpkins. So if you take a look at the board over there, that's some of their work from this week. And it's cute because you see all the individualization. All the kids did it quite differently, and I was very proud of them. So they worked very hard for me there. So that was one of our focus bins. Again, lots of fine motor practice with that bin. Then we looked at patterning. I know we talked about this a lot last week, and again, it's continuing into this week. We did patterns. So what the students had to do with this focus bin was they had pattern mats that they had to copy the pattern. So first they'd have to copy the pattern, then we used the language extend it, so make it longer, and then what they did after they did a few of these patterns on the mats, I put the mats away, and then using these pattern blocks, they had to create their own patterns and then extend their partners. And then when they were done their pattern, I'd go up to them and I'd say, okay, what's your pattern rule? And they'd have to tell me what their pattern rule is. We're gonna do lots of patterning in the next few weeks. Next week we have some Halloween patterns. Then we have, what was my other focus bin? Oh, alphabet mats. So what the kids got to do is they were given alphabet mats, and again, just uppercase and lowercase practice. And then some of the students did the words at the bottom. And then students who are very good with their letter formation, they were given words to copy. So they had to choose from a word bank, and in their journals they wrote out words, which was good focus practice for writing. We also looked at, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then what we did for our activities this week, we looked at, again, caterpillar patterns. So the kids, as just a free fun center and a great one to do at home, super easy, was on on these caterpillar mats, using bingo dabbers, they got to create their own patterns. So the kids really enjoyed doing that. And then we also did a Halloween cutout one where they had to complete the pattern using the cutouts from the bottom. We also did our printing books this week as we were on letter E. So I'll actually talk to you about letter E first. So letter E, we have the uppercase and lowercase, and for forming the letter E, I said we go down the slide and we do 3 lines, one at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. And then I told them the one in the middle is always a little bit shorter. It's very important that the students do their lines at the very top and the very bottom. Instead of, you know how like some kids will take the top line and kind of squish it next to the middle line, so the formation is off in that sense. And then we looked at lowercase e, and what I teach my kids, because E is actually quite a hard letter to produce, what I tell my students is we leave our house, we go around the block and to the park. Or I'll just teach them we leave their house and go up and around. That's how I want my students to form their letter E's. So if we can practice that at home, that'd be great. And then we talked about the sounds that letter E makes. Letter E has 2 sounds. So it says eh, like elephant, or egg, and it also says E, like eraser, or Ethan, or eating. So looking at and recognizing both those sounds in words. So you can continue doing the Jolly Phonics songs at home. And then we also did our practice books, which the kids are getting so good at. I'm so proud of them. It's funny, when I give them their practice books now, they just sit at their desk, we put on some calming music, and they do their practice books start to finish. It's really quite amazing to see. I'm very proud of them. And then this week we also did, today, because it was a short week, so my PMs have to work very hard this week to get everything caught up as well. We did monsters. So this was, actually this is my example, but I'll show you the kids' work. They did such an amazing job. What we did was we drew our own, you gotta draw their own monsters, how many, I let them choose whatever they wanted for horns, eyes, teeth. So this is some of their work. And I have a bulletin board outside the classroom, so if you're ever in the school, you can take a look. It was really just a fun art activity to do on a Friday. So this was some of their work. And then with my kindergarten students' parents, I like to introduce them to different mediums of art. So they're not always doing the same things, the paintings, the crayons, the color, pencil crayons. I like them to use other mediums. That's why we incorporated tissue paper in some of our previous activities. So today we actually used oil pastels. So that was fun for the kids to kind of get the feeling of a different type of art medium. And then lastly, parents, 2 important things for you guys to know. We've been super busy, not only with doing our centers and our play and our focus practice, but also these last about 4 weeks I've been spending time every day assessing the kids for what we call the early years evaluation. Now the early years evaluation is a teacher assessment of the kids that looks at 5 areas. So we look at environmental awareness, behavior, cognitive ability, language and communication, and fine motor and gross motor. Those are the 5 categories. I have a number of different areas within those categories that I have to assess the students in. Their alphabet, their number knowledge, their physical abilities like skipping, jumping, hopping, kicking, catching, language and communication. Can they answer who, what, where, when questions? Can they follow 2 to 3 step instructions? So I've been doing those assessments for the last 4 weeks. I've completed them. The results are now being generated, and once those results are in, I'm gonna send them home with you. What you'll notice is, and I'm gonna send home a form that explains this. It's not like a typical report card. The results are communicated in symbols. A green circle, a yellow triangle, and then a red circle. Green means they're average, they're doing just fine in those areas. Yellow means, okay, they're a little bit below average in those areas, or they might be struggling slightly. And then red means they're really struggling in those, they're really having some issues in those areas. Now, if you do receive an assessment result that has yellow and red, you and I will be speaking about that and why it is yellow and red. So don't worry about that yet. Those will be sent home probably mid-November, because it does take a long time for the results to generate. So that was the early years evaluation. And then lastly, Halloween. Parents, our Halloween dates are gonna be as followed. And I'm gonna get this right, so let me just take a look. The afternoon class will be celebrating Halloween on Wednesday, October 30th. So that's when they can come to school dressed up. And parents, I've already sent home a breakdown of who's bringing what for the Halloween class party. And then my AMs will be celebrating Halloween on Halloween, which is Thursday, October 31st. And they will be part of like the school parade. So those are the dates, the 30th for the PMs and the 31st for the AMs. And then, yeah, that's it, parents. Next week we'll be moving on to letter F. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you then.